One NBA legend coached for 16 games, then quit because he wanted to enjoy life again. Another got sued for $11 million while fans chanted for him to be fired. And one literally spilled a drink mid-game because he didn't know what else to do. Missing the NBA, some of your favorite legends became absolute disasters the moment they picked up a clipboard. We're talking Hall of Famers who made their highlight reels look like accidents. These are stories the NBA desperately wants buried, embarrassing coaching crashes that nearly destroyed legacies. Let's start with the shortest stint of them all, and the one quote that ended it all. Magic Johnson, 5-time champion, basketball genius, the guy who made no-look passes an art form. So, when the Lakers made him coach in 1994, it seemed like destiny.
I'm fine, I'm great, don't worry about that.
It lasted exactly 16 games. The team went 5-11, players were lost. One veteran literally said, "We don't know what we're doing out there." But here's the kicker, this wasn't some rebuilding disaster. The roster had talent, young Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones in their prime. Magic, the man who orchestrated Showtime, couldn't even run a practice. Players complained about missing plays, blown rotations, zero game plans. Magic would drop something during timeouts and his own team would ignore him. By March, he was done. His farewell, "I want to enjoy life again."
I went home and asked my wife, Cookie, was it all right?
Translation, coaching was hell, and even Magic couldn't fake his way through it. The man who made basketball look effortless discovered the hard truth. Watching others struggle at what came naturally to you, that's the real nightmare. Remember that $11 million lawsuit? Yeah, that was Isiah Thomas. One of the smartest point guards ever, a basketball savant who could read defenses like sheet music. But his coaching career, a masterclass in how to destroy everything you touch. He started decent enough, took over the Pacers after Larry Bird, made 3 straight playoffs, never got past the first round, but hey, respectable. Then came New York, and brother, it was a circus. As coach and general manager, Isiah managed to fail spectacularly on 2 fronts. Bloated contracts, losing seasons, players who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. But the real disaster happened off the court. A harassment lawsuit that ended with Madison Square Garden paying over $11 million in damages. While fans literally chanted for his firing, he clashed with Larry Brown, alienated Stephon Marbury, and turned one of basketball's most storied franchises into a punchline. Isiah didn't just lose games, he torched an entire organization's reputation. Smart enough to dissect any defense, too toxic to manage his own. Clyde Drexler took the road less traveled and crashed immediately. One of the smoothest players of the 90s, athletic, intelligent, clutch. But when retirement hit, he made an unusual choice: college coaching. No assistant experience, no development league, just straight from the court to the University of Houston sideline. The results? Brutal. 19 wins, 39 losses over 2 seasons. But the record wasn't even the worst part, it was his approach, or complete lack of one. He refused to recruit, wouldn't scout, basically ignored every political aspect of college basketball. His philosophy: if I have to beg a kid to come play here, I don't want him. Noble in theory, catastrophic in practice. While other coaches were grinding, networking, and building relationships, Clyde was, well, nobody really knew what Clyde was doing. After 2 painful seasons, he walked away and never looked back. The man who glided effortlessly through the NBA hit a wall the moment he tried to teach others how to fly. Steve Nash skipped every single step, 2-time MVP, basketball genius, but 0 coaching experience when Brooklyn handed him the keys to a super team. No assistant gigs, no apprenticeship, just a straight jump from TV analyst to managing Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Sure, the offense looked pretty at times, Nash was a master of that, but everything else, complete chaos. No defense, no accountability, no answers when egos started clashing and superstars started disappearing. Harden forced his way out, Kyrie became a part-time player, Durant got fed up, and Nash, he was gone before he ever figured out what hit him. The harsh truth, Nash inherited an impossible situation, but he also proved he wasn't ready for any situation. Being a basketball genius doesn't automatically make you a genius at managing other basketball geniuses. Remember that drink spill from our opening? That was Jason Kidd, and it perfectly captured his early coaching career. Just weeks after hanging up his jersey, he was coaching the Brooklyn Nets. And in one of his first games, he literally told a player to bump into him so he could accidentally spill his drink and stop play, because he had no timeouts left and no idea what else to do. That moment summed up Kidd's early years. Unconventional, desperate, sometimes effective, but mostly just confusing. In Milwaukee, he helped develop a young Giannis, but got fired mid-season after the team quit on him. But here's where the story gets interesting. Kidd evolved. Fast forward to Dallas, and suddenly he looked like a completely different coach. Led Luka Doncic to the Western Conference Finals in 2022. Made adjustments, managed egos, actually knew when to call timeouts. The question now, can he maintain that growth, or was Dallas just a lucky break? From soda spilling panic to playoff success, Kidd's coaching arc is still being written. Phil Jackson needed someone to resurrect the triangle offense, someone who understood the system, someone he could trust. So he chose Derek Fisher, clutch player, smart basketball mind, respected veteran. It was a disaster from day one. Fisher tried to force the triangle on a roster that wasn't built for it, didn't want it, and couldn't execute it if their lives depended on it. The Knicks looked lost, confused, like they were playing a completely different sport than their opponents. But wait, it gets worse. Fisher got into a public altercation with Matt Barnes over a personal matter that exploded into national headlines. Because apparently coaching the triangle wasn't complicated enough, he was fired with a 40-96 record. The triangle died again. Phil thought he was passing the torch to a worthy successor. Turns out he was just handing over a match to watch everything burn. Kevin McHale almost breaks our pattern. Almost. Celtics legend, no-nonsense leader, actually understood coaching fundamentals. With the Rockets, he was solid, even took them to the 2015 Western Conference Finals. Not embarrassing, not a disaster. But here's the thing, solid wasn't enough. Behind the scenes, James Harden and Dwight Howard were at each other's throats. The team chemistry was toxic, and McHale, he couldn't fix it. When the front office needed someone to blame for the dysfunction, McHale was the easy target. He got fired early the next season, despite having a respectable record. McHale didn't crash and burn like the others, he just faded away. Sometimes the worst failure isn't a spectacular flameout. Sometimes it's being good enough to almost succeed, but not quite good enough to matter. So, what's the pattern here? Why do NBA legends, some of the greatest basketball minds in history, consistently struggle on the sideline? Because playing and coaching are two completely different games. Coaching is communication, it's teaching, it's managing egos and explaining concepts to players who don't have your natural gifts. The best players often make the worst teachers because they lack patience. They can't understand why someone else can't see what's obvious to them. When you're naturally gifted, you develop instincts, not systems. You feel the game, you don't analyze it. But coaching, that's pure analysis. It's breaking down every possession, explaining every rotation, and staying calm when someone else screws up what you would have done perfectly. Greatness is hard to teach, especially when you were born with it. The skills that made these players legends, natural talent, instinct, effortless execution, are the exact opposite of what makes a great coach. Still missing the NBA? These coaching disasters should definitely hold you over. Drop a comment, which coaching failure shocked you the most, and who deserved a second chance. And if you want to see the rare case where a legend actually nailed the coaching transition, click here for our breakdown of Larry Bird's coaching masterclass. Because sometimes, just sometimes, greatness can be taught.